Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. My name's Edie and I wanted to do a video about your headspace after bariatric surgery and the mind games that you can play with yourself. And I also want to update you on a list of things that I have not had for over a year because of my surgery. So stay tuned. Our mind can play some awful games after bariatric surgery. And one of the things that I'm dealing with right now is still feeling like I need to lose weight and looking at pictures and still saying that I need to lose weight or that I'm too big. We had our youngest graduated high school last night and there were some pictures taken, and although I know I look a lot better than I did and that I've lost a ton of weight, my mind is still being nasty. Like, it's still saying, oh boy, look how big your hands are. That was something that I said in my pictures. Look how big your hands are. Or, you know, you have no shape, or you have no ass, or your stomach is still big, or wow, I don't think I'll ever wear that outfit again because that wasn't very flattering. Or why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we do that to ourselves? Why are we so critical of what we look like? And honestly, I don't know that I want to blame it, but I blame the marketing, because for many years, it has been driven into women's heads that we have to have this tiny waist, this hourglass figure, and girls and women strive for that. And it's not realistic. It's not a realistic body that we were given and created to be in. And so it troubles me, you know, now that I'm thinking about all these things that I've said to myself in the last day about how I look and critiquing what that is and what that should look like in my head. I'm not even sure what I should look like in my head, right? I don't even know that I have a picture of what I should be looking like in my head. I just know what I don't want to look like. So it baffles me that we are that critical of ourselves, and it needs to stop. We need to stop being so critical of how we look in a perception of what is not necessarily reality. And that just drives me crazy to think that we are that hurtful of ourselves. I would never, ever think of saying something like that to my daughter. So why am I saying it to myself, right? Why do I say those things to myself? Why do we say those things to ourselves? We wouldn't say it to a child. How hurtful would that be? Why are we doing it to ourselves then, right? It blows my mind. And after bariatric surgery, I say that because I use that as an example. Any weight loss, any massive weight loss that you would go through, no matter how you do it, you're going to have these mind games that you're going to play with yourself about what is realistic and what isn't, and what your goals are and what your goals should be. You know, I'm my lowest weight right now, I'm between 141 and 139 pounds. I feel amazing, right? I feel my health has done a 360, a 180, whatever. You know, my heart issues, my arthritis, my apnea, my thyroid, my everything is just gotten better because of my weight loss. And here I am still critiquing how I look. Now, I could sit here and be all upset because of all the loose skin that I have and think of what Dr. Now would say. There's still fat in that skin. I doubt there is, but you got to have some fat on you to protect your organs. Right? There's got to be some fat to protect your organs and to protect you. I would think that's considered healthy fat, right? We call healthy fat in our nutritional labels when we're reading stuff. There's something considered healthy fat. So I know for me that I just need to continue talking to myself and reassuring my mental being that I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. I don't need to be so critical about how I look or what I'm dressed like, or I just need to be good in my own body. And as Misty Tropoli says, in your meat suit. I got to feel good in my meat suit. I know that sounds weird. I just wanted to share that with you guys so that you understood that there's just a lot of mind play that happens when you go through a transformation. And you know what, guys? It's not just weight loss. When I had jaw surgery back when I was a junior, it was junior senior year, and I had jaw surgery. And I came out of that surgery looking so different and being so transformed in my face that it played a mind game with me then too. Any type of visual transformation that you go through on your body is gonna make you think. And the perception that you allow yourself to have is what you're gonna live with. So I just feel like it's so important that we work on that mindset status, that perception, sometimes more so than the actual journey of weight loss or that in itself. That was a huge dog. Sorry, squirrel. Except it was a dog. It was huge. It was a big black dog. It was huge, and he was on a leash with his owner, but he was huge. And I think the best way to practice that mindfulness and that mindset and the ability to be happy and good with what you have is to remember to speak to yourself the way you would speak to a 7-year-old. To me, that's huge. And when stuff starts to come out of my mouth, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Would you tell your 7-year-old self that? Would you tell your 7-year-old daughter? Would I tell Noah that? My 5-year-old grandson? There's no way. Why would I be so mean and say some of the stuff that I've said to myself to them? How hurtful would that be? I wouldn't do that. So why do we do it to ourselves? So we just need to keep reminding ourselves of that, right? When stuff starts to get spewed out of our mouth, stop for a minute and say, okay, wait a minute. Is this something that I would say to a 7-year-old or a 5-year-old or a 2-year-old? No. Be kind to yourself. You only get one of you. There is only one of us, right? There's only one of us in this entire universe. Be kind to it. Be kind. Right? So, I told you that I was going to list some of the things that I haven't had in a year, and I want to do that. It came to a realization, it's been a year, right, a little over a year since my surgery. I have not had any zero carbonated beverages since before surgery. I have had no chips. I've had no chocolate. I've had sugar-free chocolate, but not regular chocolate. I have had no hot dogs. What was something else that I had on my list? I have had, it's been almost 4 years for no cigarettes, by the way. I have had no French fries, and around here we have something called poutine, which is French fries, gravy, and cheese. I had none of that. a year. I have had like no sugared or no regular juices, like apple juice, orange juice. I've had none of that because there's too much sugar added. I've had no like fried chicken. Fried stuff has just been out of the question. You know, besides the regular high fat, high carb kind of thing, I've stayed away from that kind of stuff. I haven't had a piece of toast in a year. Some of the other things that I haven't had. I don't know. There's been quite a few things that you kind of take for granted. And I haven't had them. There have been some things that I have tried. So I can't say that I haven't had a whoopie pie because I've had a bite. Didn't really like it all that much either. I've had bites of some things to try them, and I'm glad that I did because they really don't have the same flavors for me anymore. And you know, people are like, oh, how can you live without such and such? And I'm like, I don't know, it's just not part of my life anymore. You're not craving it, you're not looking for it, you're not wanting it. And there are alternatives. You know, like people are like, oh, how can you not have ice cream anymore? Well, because there's actually better options. Sugar-free or yogurt, or, you know, I have sugar-free popsicles all the time. All the time. That's kind of my go-to frozen food snack, you know, or sugar-free fudgesicles. Had those too, you know. So there's options. There's other options out there for you, and there's no reason why you can't opt to have. I haven't had sugar in my coffee for over a year. And that's because I put sugar-free creamer in there, and that's sweet enough, so it actually adds. And I have sugar-free syrups, like caramel syrup, sugar-free French vanilla syrup that I use, French vanilla blueberry, sugar-free. So, I mean, I have sugar-free options. I don't need to have the sugar, and that's kind of what I try to stay away from, because I feel like that's a big trigger for me, and that is what makes my body feel yucky. So, all right. I am just wanting the message of being kind to yourself to be the message of this video, because we so forget so often to be kind to ourselves. We are taught to be kind to others all the time, right? But we are not really taught to be kind to ourselves. But it needs to start with us. In order to be truly kind to others and truly loving to others, we've got to start with ourselves. We've got to be kind to ourselves. We've got to love ourselves, right? All right? Have an amazing day. Go make it an amazing day for somebody else, but start with you.